How many we missing yet?
We're missing Frank.
Is he heard from him?
I have not talked to Frank, left a message. He called, but I missed his phone call, but Nick's not gonna be here, Matt's not gonna be here, and Bill Spady's not gonna be here.
They're from him.
Nick's on, Matt and Spady's are farming, planting
Right.
beans. Nick's on spring break with his kids, so. This is it.
Frank would be doing.
Yeah, but I don't know, I mean, I don't need to know if you're getting some. There you go.
I guess we got enough to do.
Yeah, we got a quorum. Yep.
All right, 6 o'clock, I'll call the meeting of Spencer County Plan Commission to order. Our first order of business will be approval of the minutes. I assume you all have seen a copy of those, either mailed or emailed. Anybody had a chance to look over them? I didn't see anything that needed correcting or attention.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Okay, we have a motion approved, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. These are approved. Next item of business, review the Spencer County subdivision ordinance. And I hope you all had a chance to look through that. Heather had some things emailed out to you on the planned unit development. I don't know, did you put this together, somebody put this together?
Well, I have a friend, her name's Ruby, we won't disclose my friend Ruby, but, I'm just teasing, I'm teasing.
Okay.
It's just, you can look these things up on the internet, so it's just a,
Well, I didn't know if like the Association of
example.
Counties helped you with it.
No, it's just an example. I think that, we're very fortunate, in this time right now to, have the opportunity for housing development, and, I think that discussing some of the things that could come forward will be helpful to this group, and this was just something that, because of the Ingram property and his not being a subdivision, it's just a example that we can use.
And I agree, I looked through the ordinances, and we did not have anything in here which I thought was odd on apartment buildings, like rented spaces, rental properties. I couldn't find anything, on that in our ordinances. The closest thing I found was on community unit projects on page 39, which kind of addressed the Ingram project, but it wasn't as big as what this particular amendment or part of the thing spoke about. It's 20 acres or more, but it really kind of defined what we was talking about, and it's similar to your PUDs here, that the information you gave. And but basically that is pretty simple what's in there as far as that goes on the community unit projects. They come with a plan. The area plan commission looks at it, makes recommendations, approves it, sends the commissioners. If they like it, they approve it, and it's all systems go, as long as all the other things are in place. But that's the only thing that I found in our ordinances that come close to that type of project. Now, if some of the other folks run across some stuff, please raise your hand and say, hey, what about this, what about
Really
that?
isn't anything that really talks about that kind of stuff in anything. About
So-
duplexes or rentals or.
I mean, as far as the subdivision ordinance, I read, hello Frank. Forgive us, we went ahead and started. But as far as the subdivision ordinance, I read through that, and that thing's pretty well nailed down, in my opinion. I mean, unless you other guys have concerns with that particular part of it. I think, Heather, what you're wanting to address is this project here where it's not being subdivided, it's more of a rental project, investment type project. And that's where the you like to share that with us? Did everybody ever see this or just look over?
I email it to everybody.
Or everybody had a copy or was able to see a copy? I guess I just open up the floor for comments at this time of feelings either on the subdivision ordinance that we currently have or the planned unit development here that's been put before us this evening. Any comments or just thoughts on either of those? So I just open up the board for comments at this time.
Phil, I admit I didn't get to really see it until this morning, but I think it's worth, the planned unit development is worth exploring. I think it could be, the way I kind of foresee it would be as an amendment to the existing subdivision ordinance.
You would include this in the subdivision title then, you think?
I haven't even gotten that far.
Okay.
So,
Or will we just put a section in on, like?
I think it could be incorporated into it.
Okay. I didn't know, I thought maybe just add a section to the current ordinances of the current policy, developing this, if that's something that the board deems worthy. So I just open up for comments or concerns or other.
I think this PUD thing, I think it's excellent. Just look through it, I think it could solve a lot of problems, because there's really no, there's a subdivision ordinance, but I think that's more geared toward Country Ridge, Pleasant Grove,
Right.
The Meadows, I guess, up at, Christmas Lake Village, all that. Single family residential, where this would be more
Right.
commercial, multi-dwelling.
Now,
So,
John, like the Meadows and, your Country Ridge, and then like the new development there, just on the outside side of Dale, those are all administered by the towns and
Correct.
cities, correct?
No.
Pleasant Grove,
Pleasant Grove's in Rockport, Country Ridge is in the county.
we've got
and
Country
The Meadows
Ridge.
is in the county.
The Meadows and the
Yes. That's what now, you get off 245.
Right. Well, I figured that was probably part of Dale.
No,
Pleasant Grove is in,
it's in the town.
it's in the town.
Yeah, it's the town's.
I wasn't at the last meeting. I had to go to a conference up in Indy and listened a little bit on the way back through. I mean, Heather, commissioners, like with the subdivision ordinance, do you just want kind of each person to kind of look through to try to find updates, or what's the main objective that the commissioners want us to amend? I understand like that, and I think it's a good idea, the PUD stuff, but what other type of things? Because I mean, I was kind of comparing like what Perry County utilizes, what Ward County utilizes, and kind of compared and contrasted a little bit. But was there anything specific that the commissioners are after in particular?
Well, as a representative of the commissioners, I just want to make the county aware that because of new developments that are coming forth, that we make sure that we ask those developers to follow a checklist, which I know Kay has.
I forgot the copy, here it is.
I think
Yeah.
I know that that's something that's going to be brought to the commissioners, meeting. We had a different commissioners meeting last Friday, so maybe it just wasn't on.
It wasn't on the,
schedule.
it wasn't on the agenda and I didn't think.
What has happened is from a previous development, not yours, Frank, because you're working on the project of yours, but there is a situation where we're still waiting on some pieces for a subdivision to be complete, but building permits they were able to go ahead and build. So I just want to make sure that going forward, that we receive documentation from said water companies in areas that developments are happening, the sewer companies, if they're putting their development on sewer, making sure that those entities have the capacity to take on these new developments, as well as whatever qualifications those municipalities require. For example, if it's a water company, they would require a tap-on fee to be a part of your prior to a building permit. Or if it's a septic, or a sewer company, they may require your tap-on fee, kind of like if you're a 1 acre, 5 acre home, you're required to have a septic permit before you are allowed to have a building permit.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know, is that the way that the order goes? You must have approval of your septic, your soil
You have to have a
testing.
septic, you have to have, well, you do that first, the soil set testing, but you have to have a septic system for a permit. Because there's some places where people say, I want my septic system there, and that doesn't work.
Right.
So we make them make sure they have everything. They don't have to have it in, they have to have a permit to put it in. Some get it in before they ever build, some build and then, put it in, just varies, but yeah, they have to have that first.
So I just think that with sewer systems, we need to make sure that there's the capacity for said developer, that they've met the requirements of those municipalities prior to any building permits are issued.
I think that is
Now,
incorrect. I think that is
In my
incorrect.
situation, I went to Kay and asked, and on that list that she gave me was, I had to go to Rockport sewage, real water, and also the high school, or the school county superintendent, to make sure there was capacity at the school, sewer, and the water. That was on the list that she gave me a year ago.
Mhm.
So that's what, like going through, because I know a couple of towns that I've been seeing, they have, I think they call them TRCs or something, where they have like someone from the water district on the board, they have the surveyor on board, the building inspector is on the board, they have someone from the school, where the developer goes to that one meeting and they talk about the project as a whole versus developer going, finding, like having to go to 10,000 different meetings. It was like one cohesive, multiple collaboration between at that one meeting. So I don't know if that would be something that would be worthwhile to do if we want to encourage development in the community. I feel like that's a big barrier to some to have to go after all of that. I do know that was a big differentiating factor that I noticed in some of the ordinances that I've seen. Another one I've seen was like, I think our water plan or water recommendations were a little bit lax compared to some of the other ones with all the new, like we get hit harder now with rain and stuff than we have in the last 30 or 50 years. And so they've really kind of revamped a lot of their hydrology requirements and stuff like that. So it was like a couple areas that were like a vast difference just comparing like Du Bois County, Warwick County, their ordinances, they seem to be a little bit more updated. So if we want to take some pieces to try to update it, or I was just kind of wanting clarification of what, again, I don't want to waste time if that's not something the commissioners want to do, but if you want me to look more into certain realms of how we can improve stuff to encourage development, but also at the same time, making sure we're staying compliant and.
And one thing I did was I looked for counties that were not real far away, but that were close to our size as I could get.
Mhm.
Perry County has no ordinances. Du Bois, now the towns in Du Bois County do, but not the county.
Yeah.
So I didn't do Vanderburgh because it's just too big. I did Posey County and Warwick, I think, and they're some of ours are long,
I looked at the one on Tell City,
Yeah, Tell City, so they would have
City of
one, but I
Tell
didn't
City.
look at towns, I looked
Yeah.
at, tried to look at counties, because it would be more.
And you mean
Yeah.
the subdivision ordinance?
Yes, subdivision ordinances, those towns, I'm sorry, counties, I'm sorry. But they don't have ordinances at all, like I said, Perry, Du Bois,
I mean, I
And the
don't know
counties.
that our subdivision ordinance is
the towns do.
not a good document. I think it's, we as the county or the planning commission need to be made aware of what the requirements are to issue a building permit.
All right.
Well, I think,
Did you have that checklist?
I have a checklist, and it's got, it basically goes,
It's
I
spelled
went
out
through
in ordinance pretty well.
this, and was like, okay, and I went through and did all of it, and there's almost
The
2 full pages.
subdivision ordinance itself, I think, is spelled out. pretty
So I
well.
think if we make this into a checklist form, because it's not right now, I just typed it as I went. And I think it would cover everything. So I think this would work. If somebody comes in and says, I wanna build a subdivision with 40 houses, if they went through this whole thing and we did everything that said on there, then we would cover everything. Because it goes all the way down to, where you get permits and where you have to have a performance guarantee and just, drainage plan has to be approved, but you also have to have your state stuff. So, anyway, I think everything's on this, we did that, it would work with what we have.
Does that also cover industrial also?
No, this is mainly for, I wish we could probably change it around a little bit,
Commercial, residential.
but it's more residential. I mean, it could be, honestly, you could probably go through and pick out what you thought went with industrials. All this obviously is not going to, talking about yards and curb and gutter and,
But doesn't industrial also have to go to the state too, don't
The
they?
state, the industrial has a lot more stuff. They have to go to the state, they have to get a lot of permits from the state.
Right.
IDM permits, EPA permits, all kinds of stuff.
So does the county come before the state for industrial development?
Doesn't matter. Well, but they have to have them both to do it, so it does, it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, I'm not sure it matters as long as they get them all. Because if they come to us first, if we would approve it, we would approve it with contingencies that they would have to have the state before they could further, move along. So, and most places, most people that come in know that. I went, we had a little trouble with the medical center there by the bank. When they first started, because they were from Kentucky, and Kentucky has totally different rules than Indiana. So we had to explain to them a few times, this is Indiana, when you cross the bridge, you're here. But once they got an Indiana person working on it, it was like cake, boom, it was done. Today, we finally finished up with the dentist office. So they got the permits today.
So they're ready to go.
Yeah, they were out there doing some cleaning up today around stuff.
The one in Rio?
Yeah, the one in Rio. So they got their permit today, but they got everything, and I got the last thing I needed yesterday. So,
And I'll look at their plan. If
Yeah.
you approve it, I'll look at their drainage plan.
Yeah.
But they're digging a retention pond in the back, right?
I'm not sure, I think that's what the plan is, but they gotta watch because of that gas
Right.
line across there.
Right.
But they did everything else, I made them do the erosion control. They had to, had to get them from NDOT saying they didn't have to change the
The road.
entrance, because I can't, but the NDOT sent me an email and said they don't have to, which I'm surprised.
They don't have to put a turn lane in?
Nope. We'll see what happens, hoping nothing bad happens.
Surprised me too.
I was shocked.
There's not one at the top of the hill with that one.
No, but that's been there a lot longer,
That's
anything
been
new
there
hasn't,
Yeah.
everything new out there hasn't. They wouldn't let the medical center there
Right,
put one in, they had to go in that road by Freedom Bank and go in the back way.
right.
So, I was shocked, but, that's,
So
they're the state.
with that, business,
Mhm.
so that was a Rio Water,
They are real water and septic.
they were putting in a septic
They had no
system.
choice, the sewer's too far away, it was too
Okay.
much money for them to invest to move it over there, because it was, closest it was the duplexes over there by the, so,
Oh, okay.
they're putting a commercial septic system in, which is not cheap either, but
Well, that was a comment I was going to make too on a housing project or a subdivision. That would almost be infeasible to put in your own septic.
there's
or water.
a part of it in there,
I know there's part in
but it would
here.
be almost impossible, because you had to.
That's what I'm
you'd have to
saying,
have
I mean, you
Either
almost
really
need city
big,
sewer and
either really
water.
big lots to be able
I
to have
mean,
your
I
own
would
individual
think
one.
to even consider a
The
project
houses,
like
that
that.
little row of houses on 66 as you're getting down to Luce Elementary on the south side of the road, they've got a big septic system in the back for all
Little
this.
sand man, sand man.
And nobody's failed yet, we'll see what happens.
So, let's say that there's a housing project
Mhm.
that comes in, and, before we can issue them a building permit, what do we require from, said water or,
Well, on my
septic
checklist,
or sewer system? What is required?
There's some type of certificate.
Okay,
you have to have something, I don't know my
According
words.
to the zoning rules or there's,
Somebody I had them.
they should issue some type of certificate.
Made them, they were looking to loose sewer because loose is so iffy. They just bought a thing where they pay the tap on fee. So obviously loose sewer's okay.
So any new development that were to come in, before we can issue a building permit, they have to have a certificate from the water, certificate from the,
We have to have verification from utilities of their agreement for them to be hooked to the lines.
so like some type of a
Something.
copy from, like you were using the example of Luce Township
Yeah,
Sewer.
that's just one.
So they submit documentation
No, they-
prior to a building permit.
They can send me an email. I don't want just a phone call. I want to see something in writing, you know. So they could send me an email, they can give them something to give to me, whatever.
So like Frank's project, he's not started on his building permit.
No, but he already has talked to all of them. And I know he's talked to Real Water. I'm
I
not
guess
sure
my
about
point is, do they need a certificate, or is it because he spoke to them?
that. I honestly let him go because he spoke to them.
Oh, you let him
I did
go.
not, I did not get a certificate.
You didn't get a certificate,
I got it.
but you talked to Rio and you talked to Rockport, correct?
More than once.
Okay, so, and I know he's talked to Centerpoint because we had no address thing. So,
I did get a letter from the superintendent.
yeah, I got that one. We got that last meeting.
So I guess what I'm asking is,
I'll get something from them for Frank and we'll be covered. If they follow this, it's number I, or letter I.
I guess, so with this document that she's created, how do we incorporate this checklist as a recommendation from this board that this is the documentation we need to follow?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we have to do that. I mean, because it is this just,
Well, I think they could actually proposal, like, we could identify this type of project to start with, because I was looking through the zoning, and there's not even anything, the closest thing that comes to it is multiple dwellings, and that's zoned R2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not commercial.
no.
I mean, so we don't really have a commercial zone, I don't guess. I mean, we have
We-
industrial.
Well, the state does.
We have agricultural, residential, business, and industrial. That's what we have.
So I mean, like Frank's project, what would that fall under?
Well, he's zoned commercial, because that's
So
what,
we don't have a
Zone
zone commercial. We
so
don't.
what was his variance for?
The variance was, because right now it was zoned I-1 or 2, I can't remember now.
And it's not industrial for
And it's
sure.
not industrial, so we gave him a variance just to build the duplexes on it and then build that, the storage units.
I think the
So-
simplest answer to Heather's question, though, would be to take the checklist and convert it into a standalone ordinance that this board would recommend to the commissioners and get it passed.
It'd be a standalone one, or we'll just get them, put with this one.
I have done ordinances that are standalone ordinances, you know, to the subdivision ordinance before. It's been years, but it would be
Yeah,
an
I've
actual
been
ordinance.
several, I've seen several cameras.
Yeah.
Attached to the original subdivision
Correct.
ordinance,
Yes.
where they change lot sizes.
Correct, yeah.
I guess-
Could you have a category that says multifamily?
Pardon me?
No, it's multi-dwellings, row house or multi-dwellings, and two-family dwellings is as close as we can come.
Yeah, I mean, if you was gonna create one, just call it multifamily.
I would probably call it rental. Or some type of rental.
What your document is listing.
What's that?
What is this that you're looking at?
He's looking at
Oh,
the.
this is the zone, this is.
This is the schedule of uses in our zoning book.
Well, I don't have a copy of that.
You don't know. Every new member gets a copy.
Well, my commissioner, we just.
Updated copy.
We pass them around because they don't need them once.
Updated copy. No, this is the
I guess-
comprehensive plan.
I think we're making this maybe, I don't know. I just wanna go back to the basic building permit. You know, Frank is starting on, what did you say? We got a 1 acre, which kinda, you're only on one parcel, we're not subdividing it. But if you go back to the basic building permit, prior to a development or 1 unit, you still have to have the approval and the tap on from the water and sewer, whatever those entities are allowing the development to do. So I guess, I do think that our building permit states that. I just want to make sure that we're communicating that to the developer.
When I talk to people that come in just to build a house, we don't have as many developers, obviously, we have more individuals. They all know that most of them have already got the water in, they know what they're doing. There's one right at the edge of Christie, they have Christie Water and Christie Sewer. And they were already running it, so I knew they were getting it. I did not make John Graham send a letter saying they were doing it.
Well, I think that we should incorporate that because we have a situation where there is said previous development that has not, they've not complied with that information, so therefore we have buildings that are built, but they did not comply with those municipalities. So I'm just trying to make sure that when we go forward, we make sure that, it's kinda nice that you're sitting
I would think that
here.
would be more than prudent to have that in the file.
I totally
Just to-
agree,
just to
because we
document-
don't wanna go
Just the
back and,
documentation, either the paid tap-on fee or,
Right. X,
You
Y,
know,
Z.
because once you write the check, you know you're gonna,
Yeah.
you committed.
Well, that way,
And you know that the water company or the sewer company or the electric company has determined that they're gonna be able to supply you those services with.
that way you don't run into the fact where, nothing against Kay, but Kay says, yes, you talk to them, and they turn around, if it goes, say it goes to court, and then, well, she didn't tell us that, or she told us this, and she actually told them no, or whatever, if it's on paper, you
Right.
can't deny it. Like you
Right.
said, you write the check, it's there,
Right.
well, we require that for a septic system. You
Right.
must have the approval before you can get a building permit.
X, Y, Z.
With the project that hit it,
When I built my first home in '85, that's what it was. I couldn't do nothing
Well,
till
that's
I had
been
the
the
soil
same
scientist.
yes.
So I had the soil
That part's been the
scientist
same way
and a
for
permit from the
eons.
health department before I could even go into K's office. That's the first thing you had to have, and that was in 1985.
whatever project you're talking about, whenever you said that they didn't adhere to the stipulations that we have for the county, was it a issue of just a knowledge deficit, not aware of what they were supposed to do, or did they try to circumvent it and we didn't enforce it? Is there,
I don't know.
so like,
I'm
I
gonna go
mean,
with the second one,
okay,
that's my opinion.
so then we need
Which
to,
was what?
Circumvent.
like, just go around, they're aware of it, and then just
They
did.
knew what they had to do, and they just didn't do all of it.
So then it goes to, if we're gonna have that, then who's gonna hold people like that accountable, like
They
accountable? So are we
they
doing
don't
it?
put teeth in it.
Yeah.
Who can show a project, like this project, if they don't have X, or whatever permit, then the whole project stops, I would think.
That's exactly what it states in our subdivision
Right, so,
ordinance.
but who,
That
so,
you can cease operation.
right, so who enforces that? Does Kay enforce that? Does Greg enforce that? You get to enforce that? Good, you get to be the bad
So
person.
the building commission.
It's okay, because if the building inspector has to be mean, I gotta go because he's too nice.
Yeah, you can cover this being mean, deal, no problem.
I mean, we could have the greatest checklist in the world, but unless we're gonna enforce it, it doesn't really.
I think that's a very good example.
Okay.
That we must, if we're gonna ask them to follow the rules, we have to follow the rules as well. And back to your question, who enforces it? It would be the building commissioner, who, he's employed by the county, but his guidelines are through the state. So,
Well, he can shut it down from the rules, right?
correct.
Simple, that's no problem. If they fight,
And it could be a letter,
yeah, they don't argue about it.
cease operation.
Probably
Big
had to
orange
come-
notices.
It probably had to come from the attorney. if you-
Well, this is always the last resort, but
No, we don't.
county, through the
Correct.
plan commission, has initiated litigation in the past,
Yeah,
so.
so this seems like a very simple task. Just whoever's in charge of it, if it's not done right, and they progress, shut it down, and anything further that they do from that point forward from being shut down, they get fined X amount of dollars per day, per week, per month, whatever. Until it's
I
And
don't
I,
think there's any
I agree with,
other-
I agree with everything you said. I think that we're on the right track.
simple.
But to back up just a little bit, we need to address the project similar to Frank's that could arise in the future because our book here does not have much in there, if anything, on that type of project. So we need to incorporate this into this somewhere, because I like everything pretty well that's in here. Now, John, maybe you could look at it and put it into an ordinance form, some,
That's my
for
recommendation.
us to review and then tweak and make changes, but, and I mean, I'd open up the floor for a motion to that effect if we want to proceed with that, because I think we need to address that maybe even in our zoning, because it's not mentioned there. I think that needs to probably be mentioned in our zoning rules as well, and then carried through all the way through, because like I said, the closest thing I found was the community development. And it was just like a page and a half, and it was basically pretty open, like the plan comes forward to the plan commission, they go look at it, they like it, then it goes to commission, they like it, approved, then it's,
But there's not really any set.
there's not really set rules or anything.
So if we go with this, you said there's no commercial zone.
No, we don't have a commercial zone.
But yet we're,
Covered by the.
like Frank's deal is zone commercial. Or
It's
it's,
not
it's,
zone commercial.
well, it had a variance for.
They had a variance to be able to build
Right.
specific duplexes and storage units. So
Okay.
it's
So
not
how
a-
is this project zoned? Industrial? What
The
was?
ground is
The ground is
zoned
zoned
industrial, we don't do spot rezoning as a normal rule. We give variances, contingent uses, special exceptions, so they can do that. And then when we've approved it, I put on the GIS, there's a little symbol, and this is exactly what they got, variance, contingent use, and this is why they have it. So it's always on there, so whoever comes behind me can pull it up and look at it.
Got
You
it.
know, if I have a brain fart and forget.
So my question is if we're gonna look at this type of rule, for lack of a better term, ordinance, whatever, then if we're gonna come in and have an area that's commercial residential, I mean, commercial living area, if it's for rent, it's commercial, that's a business. How's it not?
It's just a term that I don't know how.
No, I'm just saying, I'm
I guess it could, 'cause I don't think it, I
John,
guess
would you explain how the zoning's set up?
I will say,
I'm just saying
Right.
moving
the
forward.
zoning is, now how he will get taxed
Right.
on his property taxes will be commercial. But it's just like, you know, if you pull up our property at my house, it says agriculture. My the house is not zoned agriculture, it's zoned residential.
Right.
So it goes by, that matter what, how they tax it. I'm not sure that us saying we're zoning it this or this is gonna change a lot. I mean, I don't know, it's just my thing. So it goes, people look at the property card and go, oh, well, it says whatever it says, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't matter, we gotta look up the zoning, that doesn't mean that's what
Like-
it's zoned.
Frank's project then, John, what would that fall under, I guess is what Howard asking, what of our current
And we're saying it's business, we have a business zone, or whatever case. it is.
business, would it be
But
business?
we're not rezoning it, so it's not gonna change. Does that make sense?
That's what I'm saying, so do we put this in, do we adjust this somehow where we have industrial zone, residential zone, agriculture, instead of business, it's commercial, that covers if you wanna have a doctor's office, if you wanna have 14 duplexes,
Right.
or a storage station or whatever, then that's there instead of having, I mean, business and commercial like can interchange.
Yeah, I think so too.
But then it's, I guess it's a one size fits all, it's just a different, then we actually zone commercial and be done with it. Is that,
But
Well,
then we spot rezoning,
I mean,
that's what we, that's
John,
what.
John maybe explained the spot
Yeah.
zoning, I mean, these zones were set up when, and,
Years ago.
I mean, years
Decades
like
and
that, but
decades
we don't
ago, you know.
rezone, we just
okay,
do a variance or
whatever.
Whatever, special.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Is it, if this is the point of contingency, is that a big deal to put this in the playbook?
It's a big deal to rezone everything, because I mean, if we start rezoning everything like that, we're gonna have, something here's gonna be zoned ag, something here's gonna be zoned residential, something here's gonna be business, and we have big areas that are, huge areas that are agricultural. We have areas closer to towns that are residential, you know, and then it just varies, and then for whatever reason, there's a huge swath in Hatfield, it's business, I don't know why. It's just a big swath. in
But by
Hatfield.
and large, presumably, decades and decades ago that was set up whenever those zonings were created to protect our agricultural ground. We are primarily an agricultural county, but we have residential growth and promote residential growth around our municipalities. And we do not entertain spot zoning by and large.
Not as a general rule, no.
And we
I'm
just
gonna say there's
do
not any, but
Yes.
there's
or
very,
contingency.
That's why, yeah.
there would have to be a,
But like
Something
this
we
project then would be considered, the contingency or the
Yeah.
variance would be business.
yeah, so he got it, I think it was contingent use to use I-1 or 2 ground for this part of what's used for. So that he got permission to take that ground, because what it was there would not fit in that zoning, but we gave him permission to do this in it anyway.
Right. And
But
that's
the
how his
ground-
taxes are determined then.
Yeah, but they'll go by what, cause like, I think they, for years it was taxed agricultural. Well, then they changed it, and they've already started taxing you commercial, haven't they, Frank, or business or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before.
Yeah, I know, but, so yeah, they'll do that. And it's just like where the medical center is there across from the bank, it was agriculture.
Right.
And they had to get it done, and they are now they're getting taxes, it's been done for a while, just not open, as business or commercial, whatever they have, they term it on.
They're taxed accordingly, but
Yeah.
technically the
But what it's
ground
used
stays
for.
Right.
agricultural or I-2.
I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the tax revenue increases is the potential,
Because they
or
look
the
at
revenue
your
potential
property
increases.
for what it's being used for, to tax it. So, they don't really, because in mine, it says agriculture, but so we get taxed agriculture on 35 acres or whatever. But, or not quite that many, the rest of it's don't get taxed residential because the house is there, but the whole thing is zoned residential.
So when you look at the property card or GIS, does that reflect the zoning in our
Nope.
county?
No, the property card, no.
So how do we determine which parcels are actually, because this is new to me?
If you go to the county GIS, the one that's, everybody can get on.
Yeah.
Up at the top under, I think it's under tools or
Yeah.
layers, whichever one it is, there's one you can turn on zoning.
Okay.
And then what it does is puts all there's a color for every different zone. And you can get closer to it to read what it says then, but you can do it by that way. So yeah, that's the part people don't know. On mine, I can click 2 buttons and I can tell you what it is. It's just, this is that different when we have.
John, do we need a motion, or can we just direct you to put an ordinance?
You can just
together?
direct us to start
Start
putting
working
this
on
in
the
ordinance form,
plan unit
incorporating
development,
both the checklist and the PUD.
Okay. Is everybody in agreement to proceed with that part of it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we just,
And then, you get back to us with,
And we'll plan on having that ready for April.
next question. Now, you mentioned April. Can we skip the April meeting?
That's something that needs to be done.
Oh, okay. Killing me, Kay.
Well, you know what, there's some I go, sure, I'll talk to them again, but this is something bigger coming in, I really don't wanna say, oh,
All
sorry, I
right,
gotta wait another month.
I'll come Thursday. You gotta come out Saturday and help me plant trees. Can to make up for Thursday.
Oh, I need to get on the camping, I'm only on Friday.
See, you're about partying there. All right, back to business.
Okay.
So, John, if you will work on that, working in the PUD into our current ordinance and maybe a place where we put that, or incorporate that into our current ordinances. And then also, let's get our checklist updated and more user-friendly.
I can make it more of a checklist of this new number.
Yeah, and we'll incorporate that maybe also in with the plan unit development. And John, maybe visit that community development parts section here that maybe not even applicable anymore. That might can just be removed or.
I think, and I'll go through it closer, but a lot of this, what we're creating will supersede that.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I assumed too, just looking, it was pretty vague and pretty open-ended, so.
so are we gonna make this a part of the residential subdivision ordinance, or are we just gonna make this its own?
No, it's
I
gonna
think
be.
I'm just gonna leave that up to John to come up with a draft, and then we can look at it
I
and.
think it should be its own, I think it's,
If it's cleaner that way, then I haven't really thought through that as much because I just got it to this. But if it's
outside of
cleaner,
single family, so it would be its own set of rules.
I was kinda on the same
Yeah,
same page as you, it just however it works out, and, you know, if John thinks it can go into the subdivision ordinance, but I was kinda like you, just kind of a standalone thing, but a lot of it's gonna be repetitious, you know, probably
Yeah.
referring back to subdivision ordinance on the things that has to happen, you know, in order for that to proceed, so there's not a lot of duplication there.
I like this because it gets, I think it meets some of the other, from the emergency side.
Right.
Some other things that
Right,
need to be checked off
right,
before things are done, just
right,
some of the places that we go into, being on fire department,
right.
it's not really easy to get around. So, you know, there's places that, you know, there's, like Country Ridge, I don't know. I don't think there's like one fire hydrant at Country Ridge, maybe.
I'm not sure, yeah.
If there's
I mean,
two,
there's-
there's like, there's no big water out there.
No.
So you got big fancy houses out there and no water supply. There's gonna be some very unhappy people if it's the middle of the day and your house
Hopefully it
burns
never
down.
Right.
So that's part of it too. I think that needs to be, I like that in here, that gets signed off by whoever the fire department is.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's even included in.
I'm thinking it is, but I'd have to read it again.
I'm
thinking
thinking-
for the fire, and
I'm
sorry.
there was 5 groups that signed, currently have to sign off.
You must sign off, you must have in the subdivision ordinance.
Yeah, so it'll be in this one too then.
And I mean,
I mean,
I would
it's-
like to see this as a separate document so it doesn't get lost in this large document. And, you know, again, the current project that's on the table, you know, has brought some new life to our county with using one parcel, which did not fall under our subdivision ordinance. So it kind of helps if we have a separate document for whomever is administering these building
Commercial
permits.
rentals or-
No matter what it is.
Yep.
They don't have to, a lot of it is similar, but it helps to minimize maybe.
It's fine with me, and frankly, it's easier
But I
for
mean-
me,
It'll be
but,
easier for you to do that, wouldn't it?
You know, you're the.
Well, and then also, I guess my concern is, we wanna make sure that we got water, enough water, enough sewer, we wanna make sure we got enough water to fire hydrant, we wanna make sure we got, we're getting buses around, emergency vehicles around. Those are all things we wanna make sure happens, but also, we need to help, a person like Frankie wants to develop and say, when they come in, and say, how do we help you put wheels in this project?
Right.
Because we want affordable housing for middle-class families that, you know, want to move to our area, want to put heads in bed, so to speak, because that all adds to the economy of our county. So we want to make it, you know, we want to cross all our Ts, but we want to make sure that when these folks come in to do a project, that we do all we can to help them accomplish their goals.
They're not jumping from here to here to X, Y, Z,
Right.
X to A, and
Right.
B to Z. Yeah,
Right.
I agree 100%.
Are we adding a checklist to the building permit packet, where it's ease, like we can give it to them and then we can
We
review it?
we
Or
would do that with the subdivision or something like that. I'm not gonna have this checklist won't be for like, you come in and build a house.
No, it'll be just for those projects, but
Yeah, we
something
can do that.
incorporate, that way if we ever audit in the
Cause
future.
they'll have to
make
come
sure-
in and get copies of like this, like how to do the roads and the gutters and the.
Okay.
So do we need to make a motion for a couple of different things, or what are the motions on the table?
I'll make a
Is there
motion.
a checklist?
There's no
PUD?
motion right now, we just directed John to put together a draft.
Oh, wait till the draft.
yeah, I'm gonna have
So
something to look
checklist
at.
and the
Yeah.
PUD.
Make a draft of the checklist, make a draft of the, PUD, what you gave him, and he can dig into it a little deeper.
And I will proceed with a separate ordinance.
Okay.
It'd be much
From-
easier.
It's
but
easier.
I think
It's easier.
most of the majority of the committee thinks that might be the best way to go to with the
Yeah,
separate ordinance.
it's easier for me anyway.
So that way, this would cover apartments, duplexes, whether they're subdivided, whether in one
Right.
parcel, either way,
Right.
it's covered.
I
So, just for, I guess information reference, whatever, I figured that with Frank's, he's putting in, plus where Z Place is, well, there'd be 86 families right there in that one block.
It's a lot.
There's 25 duplexes at Z, or will be at Z Place when it's done, so that times 2 is 52, 62, whatever it is, and then, or 50, I guess, and then 14 Either way, the number came up like 86 families,
Yeah, it's a lot.
whether it's single people or whether there's whole families, either way. So I think it's a good deal. If we have areas like that we can
Right.
promote this on, or I know there's another subdivision potentially on the table just to the east of there. I think that'll be single family if it goes through, but, you know, so you're adding a whole lot right there if it all works out. So I think it's a good idea, but I think we need to have our ducks in a row for all this, so there's no questions.
I think we need to have something specific for this.
That's why I like this, because
I do too.
it separates that stuff from an actual subdivision, because they're not the same.
I agree.
So, yeah, I like that.
All right, I think that pretty well brings that discussion to an end unless anybody has anything else they want to add. Is there any old or new business at this time? New business?
We're basically here for the same thing, we're trying to get our ducks in a row. So,
Okay.
we were trying to figure out where the ducks lined up, sorry I didn't tell anyone we were coming, and realize I
But it's appropriate time. I don't know everybody here. I'm Chris Wisher.
Chris?
I'm the city attorney for the city of Rockport, and you all know the mayor. I know, Kay, we talked on the phone.
Yeah, we have.
In person, and,
Yep.
you know, we talked on the phone.
Sure.
But so I've been working with the city for, more than a year now. Like she said, the mayor said, we're getting our ducks in a row, so to speak. You may know the city's engaged in a pretty substantial sewer project. And it's a pretty substantial investment in the sewer. And at the same time, there's growth happening outside the city. And inside the city can protect itself with processes, and that's what we're working on, getting our own processes in order. But it was an encouraging discussion, because I think there are things at the county level, things with Rio Water, for example, that it gives some checks in place that would help the city, but also help the county. I think you alluded to, and I do a lot of work on development for property owners and developers in Warwick County. You can't get a building permit without a TAP certificate. So Newburgh, Chandler, all issue sewer TAP certificates. We're working on, right now I don't think we issue a certificate, but we're working on that so that they can come to Rockport, get their certificate, bring it, and then, because we've got one development out there I know of that has multiple units connected to the sewer, never paid taps. And when you have larger developments that come to the city to buy their tap, that's when the city has the opportunity to, what's the development, what's the usage gonna be, what volume, what's their peak flow, what's their average flow, are we gonna be able to handle that, right? And so those kind of checks are what we're looking for. I think we're obviously willing to work with you all as you prepare your checklists and your ordinances to try to make sure we're on the same page. I know in Warwick County, when you get the subdivision process, you know, we all know Warwick County's grown like gangbusters over the last 20, 25 years, so they've put all these things in place. And so I think you mentioned Warwick County, they do a site review meetings. I mean, you know, as this stuff starts happening here, which will be great, you get the right processes in place, then it avoids a whole lot of headache. I mean, you know, developers might not like it, because I represent developers too, but that's what we're after, you know.
Well, they don't have, the developer doesn't have to like it, but they need to be able to navigate, they need to be able to navigate it quickly as possible and without as many glitches as possible, you know. Things have to fall in place, but as long as they can navigate it at a reasonable time frame and get what they need, I think that's key as well.
That's the goal I would think for the county and, you know, any town or whatever. I think that's what we're shooting for in all of
Right.
this. So I think that's what we need to work for.
And we're trying to make sure that we can provide sewer, and so if we know up front that it's coming, you know, and not blindsided by the end, and, you know, we can plan.
But like,
for it.
Frank has spoke to you, correct? I mean,
He's spoken.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
been to meetings, and
Yeah.
we've talked
Yeah.
about,
Okay, I just,
with
you
our
know.
engineers, but without a tax certificate, it's not been completed yet, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, he's way from needing it, but I understand what you're saying.
right.
I
And
think-
we want to see plans so that we know where the sewers are gonna be placed. When we have a development out there that's got sewers in places where they shouldn't be, you know, because we gotta get our processes in place. But it's hard for us to control what's out
And
there.
we have inherited several problems that have cost us a lot of money,
Mhm.
and so we're trying to avoid that in the future.
Right.
And we'll need anything owners, I mean, I think if you know, if you look at Van County, Ward County development, going like gangbusters, developers can manage the requirements that are over. And you mentioned most all of them here in your meetings, so you're thinking along the same lines, I think, so that's all.
Does Rockport do the water out in Rio, or how,
No.
where is sewage, or?
We just do sewage.
And
Just sewage.
then Rio Water has
You
water.
use sewage to Rio?
Yeah.
How far out do you go?
You go to
the
the
west.
doctor, you probably go to the doctor's office, right, to Dr. Martin's office? You don't go any further, do you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So just wastewater, but not the actual
Yes.
real
Water
water?
be real high.
Yeah, but that's before you get to the doctor's office.
Okay, the doctor's not the top of the hill, because I thought they got real high.
Yeah.
When you have a residential subdivision, for example, we want to ensure that the sewer that's put in for the residential subdivision meets the standards, is gonna work appropriately, and that we can serve it and maintain it when we take it over. That it's in easements and in the right place, there's a lot of checks to make sure that happens. And so we're gonna be putting some standards together, but wanna make sure we work with you all to make
We
sure
were
we're all
trying to
on the
make sure
same
we were
page.
aligned with everything you guys were doing, what you were thinking, so that, and maybe you could offer us insight if we need it, or, you know, to,
I think Spencer County is a lot like Ward County in that you have a lot of multiple municipalities in the county, but a lot of unincorporated area that's gonna develop, right? It's not all homogeneous cities and towns, and that's exactly what's happened over there. And so that puts a lot on you as a plan commission or the building commission, planning commissioners to be able to, you know, manage that orderly development. It's great, but it puts a lot of pressure on you too.
Well, and if you have the ordinance and things in place, it gives you some direction where it doesn't make it quite as hard. When, you know, X, B, and C are done, or A, B, and C are done, then you can go to D and get the project done.
And we do in Ward County and Medford County, they do what they call site review, which is like what you call it, a TRC, a technical review committee. So everybody gets together, goes over the project, gives their input, and then here's all the things the developer has to do. They come out of that meeting with, okay, I gotta get a variance for this, I gotta go get my water's gotta approve it, you know, they need this and that, so it comes out with a pretty good checklist, so that's not a bad idea.
Tell City and Du Bois County, they all do that, and I thought, like, cause I've heard stories like you have to go here, and versus all of them just kind of meeting together and kind of coming up
We
for
have
like streamlining.
a town attorney for Newburgh, and you know, Newburgh's actually really small, so we don't have a whole lot of new development, so one every 6 months, and so then it's like we gotta get everybody together and relearn and refigure out what we did the last time.
and I think we're learning stuff because of Frank. You
What's
know,
that?
so that we're learning stuff because of you, trying to make it easier on our side with the county, make everything a little blended, so that we can, you know, glide instead of box.
Justin's right about going here, and here. It's,
Yeah,
It's a lot.
they only meet every 30 days, and you go to one real water, and when the real water's not going to do anything, they find out what the sewage is going to do.
Yeah.
And then sewage ain't going to do nothing until they find out what the electric's going to do. And you go all back through that cycle again, and you finally, 5 months later, you get the electric company to tell you where they're going to put the line at.
Cut that down.
Then you gotta go back to real water and sewage again. It takes several months to go through that cycle.
yeah.
Yeah, we
I
can
know
streamline
it's
that
frustrating.
process.
So now we need to figure that out. Whether we put, so do we put somebody from each of those on this board?
It's like a whole
Or
separate
on
committee.
it.
It's a whole separate committee.
Okay, so then do we make another subcommittee of this? That way when there's something gonna happen, like such as Frank's deal, you come in here and say, this is the plans, we need everybody's input in 14 days or what, 30 days instead
So
of.
I think you still have the
5
same problem, because let's say Kathy's on it for Rockport, but if she has to go back to the
I know.
council, I mean, we gotta figure out something by talking to them and Rio Water, but I don't know.
Well,
Having them all together,
Well, I'm not saying there's it doesn't have to be every month, just
Yeah.
if there's gonna be a project.
we need something.
Then we set on April and September, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you bring in the new developments and stuff like that, and you bring in these outside people that are representatives of said utilities or whatever, and have a meeting instead of the developer having to go to 15 meetings for 6 months. So that's not good for them, that'll deter people faster than anything.
It seems like every community ahead of us with development, they have that TRC committee to kind of help streamline. So that was my only like big difference when I seen compared, was like maybe that might be something we look at in the future to really kind of help, and it'll cover our butts in the end too, of making sure, because you have a lot more educated people on that committee versus kind of think everyone here is a generalist, but in that committee it'd be more of your specialist type of thing you have water, yeah.
At one time, this planning commission had, this board here had a member go to the city.
Yeah, there was a member from this board on the city
And
council.
I was that person, but I only went one time because they never did, we had changed mayors. I went with Mr. Winkler. And it's fell through, they've never notified anybody to come back.
I could see this TRC committee functioning very well in a city, town, municipality setting. A county's gonna be a little more difficult. You know, you got Grandview water, you got Santa Claus water, you got Rio water, you got Rockport water.
Yeah, Finch Newton.
French New Water, which water department company's gonna come to the meeting this time, you know?
It would be-
It'd be a little more hard to facilitate, not that it's not a good idea, but we just need to think about how we would put that together and.
I think most of the counties that do have it, they just kind of have someone there, like, for like the example, they have like the rural, like power initiative,
Right.
that person, even though you're not maybe tapping into them, they can at least provide some, like, they're gonna be able to help you, like, oh, you need this much power versus, I have no clue. I have no clue what sewer, you can have like, you can have Mr. Everard here kind of help provide some guidance of, oh, you need this much of a line, and then just everything, all of that single meeting, it's like, oh, I didn't think about that, but that's where I see the biggest.
Right, I agree.
Of it, but.
And I think Chris had a really good point. A lot of times it's the engineer.
I was
So
gonna
he,
say that.
I would contact my engineer, he would already know who to contact, and those would be calls behind the scenes before they actually went to the council or to this board, or, you know, to make sure that the capacity and everything was there.
If a developer has a good engineer who knows all the rules, or most of them, they put it all, they get the plan together and you start from there instead of just square one, right? I mean, we're not there to design it for them, but we can tell them what the rules are.
Sure.
But we certainly try to help.
You know, that falls under the preliminary consideration prior and within the subdivision ordinance, so. For a developer, they're aware that this is the document for the county, and that's where they start their process.
So back to the checklist, get the checklist done, bang, bang, bang. Simple.
Guys, I think we had a productive meeting this evening. Does anybody else have anything else to add or take away or
We-
comments?
We'll have a meeting, BZA and Advisory Planning Commission on April 23rd. Of course, BZA will be at 6, because we will.
Is that the normal meeting?
Yeah.
Normal meeting?
Yes, normal meeting night, normal meeting time, yes.
What time will planning
And,
start at 6:30?
Both at first?
Both are first, Jack.
Okay. And Tom, you think you got something put together with it?
We'll have something for you to look at.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have anything? If not, I'll have entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make that motion.
We have a
Second.
motion, we have a second.
Second.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Guys, have a good rest of the week.
You say 23rd?
23rd, yeah.
Normal meeting night.
Yeah, it's a board code.
Did you get it?
Heather, thank you for bringing that. Email me out.
I'll be here.
I don't know, you put it together. or-
Yeah, that's the plan.
You up?
Sandy called me.
I don't know,
She
I
said,
thought maybe the
"It's gonna be
association.
one calendar." I said, no, I did my 3 things. I'm there. She goes, well, I got you on my
Oh.
calendar. I said, you know, my calendar.
I tell you what, my brother Steve said that thing, his phone gets hot when he asks a hard question.
Well,
His phone
come out
actually,
of work, I go straight over.
Full of data.
Honestly,
I didn't tell my reading.
yeah, and I told them
I mean,
that.
just, once he asks, though.
Sounds good. I'll be here.
It saves everything in
I
your,
will
yeah.
say, I'm looking about 20 ahead.
Thanks.